Alright, I'm going to give my bit on the iPad. And boy, are there a lot of videos, articles, and opinions from A to Z on it. So what I'm going to do is give my personal opinions on it. Everybody has them, right? Everybody has an opinion. And why I like the iPad. And why it suits me, whereas it may not suit you. So, first I want to start off with, I do have some history with tablet PCs in general. Quite a few years ago, I did programming on the XP tablet PC version, or edition I should say. And this was for health professionals that would go around and manage patients. It was very popular with doctors, but the tablets kind of, at least in my observation, went away in favor for smaller netbooks, if you will, that would be connected to the hospital or professional office network. But then you have these hybrids, which the screens can act as tablets, and yet you have the hard keyboard, so on and so forth. Now, let's get back to the iPad. I really wasn't interested in all of the rumors that were going around for quite some time. I just didn't have a care. I really never commented or participated. And that all changed until a story was printed, and it got overlooked, predominantly by the iPad hype. AT&T and Apple, which was really more of an AT&T restriction, so I'll just say AT&T, is now allowing voice over IP over their 3G service. Boom. Immediately I'm like, this is absolutely what I've been waiting for. Okay? I can tell you there are a few things that give me great irritation. The first, let's talk on the tech side, is that if you're a satellite or cable subscriber, you know, I have friends that pay, what, $60 a month just to view cable, but yet they have a DVR box in every room, so, and then in the den and whatever, so that's about 6 DVR boxes, right? So they're paying $60 just for cable, right? And they're paying $42 in fees for these dang DVR boxes, right? It's an annoyance to me in terms of paying for those kinds of things, right? Well, I liken that to the plan that I'm paying with AT&T, of which I feel personally that I'm paying way too much just for the plan, just to have like voice minutes and all these packages and things just in head and data and all this other stuff. And I'm always looking for a way to cut corners. Well, why did I even get the iPhone to begin with, right? Because I could have had a cheaper service and not even have to tackle all this monthly plan, right? I could have just had a prepaid plan, what have you. Well, iPhone 1 comes out, and most people complain that there's no 3G service, it doesn't do XYZ, but yet the iPhone has been taking off. It evolved as a product. Well, I didn't get the iPhone, original one. I waited till the 3G came out, plus I was under contract, so I really couldn't switch. And the biggest thing that I was looking for, because I didn't want a netbook, I didn't really want to have like a smaller version of a laptop. I wanted something quick and easy and more mobile, because let's face it, a netbook is still desktop computing, if you will. There are reasons why we have differences in terms of smartphones or mobile computing versus having a device that actually is running a full-blown or very close to a full-blown OS in terms of as what you know it on a desktop. Didn't want to bring one of those around all the time, so just didn't opt for it. And the need that I had was to conduct the business that I need to do with clients and programming on the fly edits or consultation edits, what I call consultation edits on the fly, And the applications within the iPhone allowed that for a smaller cost of applications that would cost on a netbook, right? The environment of the iPhone is the applications. That's the power. These low-cost applications that do so much versus I'm having maybe XP or whatever, and I could look for freeware, but chances are those applications cost a lot. Okay? So when I watched the iPhone originally take off, I still had that decision when my contract was going to end with my previous carrier to say, am I really going to go for the smartphone? I really want these needs addressed, and I don't want to have a very high cost. And all this time had gone by. I'm watching 99-cent applications. Maybe some are $6.99, $5.99, so on and so forth. But that's significantly cheaper than other applications that I wanted to do the same thing over in purchasing, right, for the needs that I wanted. So I'm loving the iPhone, right? I get it. It's low cost in terms of production via the applications. But the plan, whew, it's a little steep for my taste, but it's doing what I want to do. Granted, the screen size to me, it makes things very cumbersome, but it has delivered. It does get the job done. So, I digressed a bit, but we go back to the iPad. The news article was printed, voice over IP over 3G service, which opens up an entirely huge thing. So I'm already thinking all the applications that I have right now where there's kind of workarounds are going to immediately go to using this voice over IP for the 3G data service. And things like iCall and all this other stuff can now participate. WebEx can change, Citrix can change. All kinds of opportunities open up. And then I'm kind of reading tweets coming in on Twitter, and all of a sudden it says iPad will support 3G. Wow, I'm thinking, okay, that's pretty cool, neat. Because immediately when I heard that, the only thing I'm thinking is business. And so I went on reading some of the tweets coming in, and then they said, well, all your iPhone apps will move over. For me, it was an immediate no-brainer. The point is, I'm going to have a lot larger screen real estate that I have with the iPhone, and I can do everything that I need to do on my iPhone a hell of a lot faster. Okay? A lot of people are saying, well, it's an overgrown iPhone, it's an overgrown iPod Touch. Well, you can call it that, but being overgrown is the point. The screen real estate is the point, unless you're a person insistent on having a pocket device. But for me, I don't use this to play music. I don't use this to watch videos. I don't use it to play games. I use this for business, for my productivity. And honestly, the environment I love, the cost I love, all of the logistical chain is there for it, versus having a netbook and purchasing applications and all of that logistical chain. But the wish is granted. I now have a larger screen real estate to do everything that I'm currently doing within the same application setup, but I can do it faster now. And now I can run everything through voice over IP. Heck, I could even run a tremendous amount of my calls through Bluetooth or whatever setup that I want through the device over voice over IP and cut down on minutes hugely. Could even, when this contract ends, that's the way I see it. The iPad for me replaces the iPhone utterly. And if need be, on those times, night on the town where I want to have just a small cellular device, boom, fine. I'll just go get my old prepaid thing and go back to being extremely cheap, because that's just me anyway. The decision in purchasing the iPhone is now erased with the iPad, and it suits me perfectly for everything that I want to do. All of my FTP on the go, all my text editors, Citrix, WebEx, you name it. All of it now can function on a much larger surface and make my life easier. I just can't explain it enough. For me, this is is great business. I know that Apple mostly demos a lot of the whole consumer end of things, pictures, movies and things like that. But you know, I don't use it. I don't use my iPhone for that. I mean, I have a Zune HD for what I'm going to do in media. You know, so many people were balking at me for, well, why did you get the Zune HD? You have an iPhone? Because I, for one, use this for business. There are other tax reasons and stuff like that, but the drive on here, number one, is not large enough for what I want to do with business and then having fun, so on and so forth. So the Zune to me excels at doing media. You know, it's not like this hybrid situation. And so to me it was the product of choice, and I went with it. Well, the product of choice for me now is to go with the iPad, because it's, so far from what I can see, is going to be there for what I need. Now, I still have a ways to go before this contract ends, so when it does, rest assured I will be acquiring an iPad and it will replace my iPhone. I can just see all of the applications now using all of the new the data service over 3G, getting larger, easier keypad to use, all of that. Now people are talking about, I've seen complaints like, well, you can't transfer files and all this other stuff. I don't know where a lot of you guys are, but I have a tremendous amount of business applications on my iPhone. I have no problem using it as a hard drive. I have no problem sharing files with this to my Macs or PCs. I transfer Word documents, Excel sheets, all of that all day. I can even transfer like Python edited files, PHP, or whatever editing I'm doing from the phone to my Mac or PC, either over network or FTP, and I even have an app that does it over 3G. So I'm seeing all these complaints of people saying, well, it doesn't do this and that. The iPhone is about applications. It's in the application, all of your answers. And then the other thing that I keep hearing about is multitasking. And I'm going to dedicate now a whole video about multitasking, because I have news for you guys. The iPhone does multitask. And now I know the answers are, well, yeah, all of the bundled applications within the iPhone, but it doesn't allow third-party developers to do multitasking. Now, I know everybody's complaining about a camera, and I can't agree with the camera, but I'm guaranteeing it's going to be on the second generation. You know, I'm remembering all of the initial complaints of the original iPhone back when it was released, and then how features came in, and look where the iPhone is now. The camera is not a deal breaker for me, but it would be cool, especially on my video conferencing with clients. You know, we could see each other, but I can already use audio, what have you, on my current conferencing applications. The video would be a very nice plus, and I'm sure it's to come. And perhaps by the time my contract expires on this iPhone, the iPad 2nd Gen will already be out, or very close to becoming out. So I'll make that decision there. But I am a firm believer in the iPad and where all the applications are going to go, because the biggest thing that I think that they did brilliantly was bring the software from the iPhone to the iPad. Everybody's like, why doesn't it run OS 10 and all this other stuff? It's not meant to. Then you're right back to the environment of purchasing more expensive applications and in the world of desktop computing. You already have an entire logistical infrastructure of applications growing at the size of roaches breed, okay, on the iPhone. And why would you want to not tap into that market? Everything is about application driven. Apple is creating an entire new environment. That's why everybody's really wanting to get into the entire iTunes application store, and people are fighting for rights to access to these applications, because everybody's missing it. The world is the applications. This is a canvas for applications. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is Apple's hardware. I give major kudos for Apple. They're using the right architectures, RISC-based architectures, and I'd say keep going. And it's very exciting to see now Apple pretty much planning, because they are very much a mobile device company, and planning to use their own mobile chips and get as much bang for the buck out of them. I think it's very impressive, and we will finally see when it's hands-on. But that's my opinion on the iPad. Thanks for watching.